Good evening and welcome to a special village board meeting for March 30th, 2021. I thank everybody for coming tonight. This had been planned for 6 p.m. this evening. And thank you for adjusting your schedules. We got word late today that there were some power outages around town that were planned, but we just didn't get that call. I guess Michelle was one of those that just got her power back. And so we felt like if we could move it to 7, we've sent out a nixle and put it on the website and things like that. And I think I contacted some trustees. You could all be here, so I'm glad you could be here. Thank you for coming. If you could mute your screens or mute yourselves and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. We'll get going with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Back to this. Excellent. I'm going to start right off. We don't have committee reports tonight because this is a special village board meeting to look at 2 items for consideration. So, but there is a public comment section on our agenda. So if anybody has a comment, you can give us a wave or raise your hand and I'll keep my eyes open and see if there's anybody that has something. Board members as well. I'm looking and I don't see anything right now.
Can you see Nick? He keeps texting knock knock.
He's in.
Oh, all right.
I answered. I saw it. And I seem to have a little delay, but I saw Nick was here. Yep.
Okay. Hi, Nick.
Okay, so since I don't see any movement on that, I'm going to move to agenda item number 1 this evening. It says, consider adopting the Village Altamont Policing Reform and Reinvention Collaborative Recommendations, findings and recommendations of the Village of Altamont Policing Reform and Reinvention Collaborative Committee. So this started a few months back with John Scally facilitating and leading the committee along with our chief, Todd Pusey. And then officers and members of the community or residents working together, looking at our policies and, you know, going through them and seeing what needed to be modified or reinvented or, you know, any kind of changes or, you know, keeping and having discussions about what is in our current policies. I know that this was something that was looked at around, and don't quote me, I think 2008 or 9, we had looked at police operating procedures way back when. And Todd and Jay and Pat Thomas and the committee all together worked, you know, looking at what we had and where we need to go. And John, I don't know if you want to just go ahead and say anything else because I wasn't on the committee, but do you want to add anything?
Oh, the committee and we all work together as a team. Todd, Jason, and Patrick were the part of the police department, and they tirelessly went through quite a few policies and try to make it so we're being proactive with our community. We wanted to address some of the issues that the police collaborative wanted us to address, and then we discussed those. We added it to our draft. We talked amongst each other. We had a public comment. We had a survey. Thank you, Carrie, for that. And we were able to hear what the public had to say. And we wanted to put this together. And anything that you want to talk about, Todd?
You pretty much covered it, John. I'm sorry, I got to wear a mask. I'm actually at the airport.
Yeah, sorry.
Right but yeah, no, that pretty much covers it. We, like you said, changed a lot of our policies, over 20 policies, to be in compliance and to better reflect what we do throughout our jurisdiction.
Yes. And Jason, you want to add anything to that, or is pretty much we discussed each of the policies, what the changes were, and then we applied it to what we need to be doing for the New York State. And we read over each of the comments that the public had on the end of the survey, and we discussed it amongst each other, and we talked about it, and if people want to make changes, and a lot of it wasn't necessarily to do with what the police collaborative was initially meant for, but this is what the concerns of our community were. So we talked about that too.
I think it was a good overview, and Patty Blackwood created a page on the police page on our website. So as you went along, the, videos from your meetings as well as drafts as it changed were also posted on there for the public to look at and review. So I appreciate you guys doing that, and Patty for doing that as well. And the draft, the board has had this draft for about a week now. And I know I had asked you guys to funnel any questions towards John. I don't think any really came in, if I got that right. So I don't know if any of the board members have questions for John or Todd or Jay while they're here. And if not, we can make a motion. I'm not seeing anything, just making sure.
No, I didn't. I finally had a chance to read through it very thoroughly. It's very comprehensive. Did you find, I just have just a question, Todd and John, just really more curiosity. Did you find that even though you made changes to the documents, that you were really making changes to procedures day-to-day that you're all kind of intuitively already doing? And just
Yeah, as far as the
Yeah.
changes, Dean, to be honest with you, we're already in compliance, but now we had our policies to reflect that. We really haven't had any of the issues that other agencies have had, which was the whole purpose of this. But again, on a good note, we did make some changes that allow us to continually look at this. So it's a future growing process. So it's not just a one-time thing.
good, thank you.
And I
I can
guess-
just,
Oh,
one
go-
second, and a lot of it has to do with the ongoing training that will take place because of the changes also, so. Sorry.
I think Todd mentioned at our budget workshops, one of the budget workshops, I think, that one of the areas he put some more money on this year was for that training, de-escalation training and things that are going to come out of these collaboratives around the state. So we're prepared for that for our officers as well.
We viewed it as like proactiveness for our community. And that's
Yeah.
how we saw it.
Well, I want to thank you guys, all of you that met on this, and especially the writing of it itself. So, putting it all together, because that's quite the task in itself, just, getting it together, editing it and proofing it, etc. So with that said, could I have a motion to consider adopting the Village of Altamont Policing Reform Draft? Item number 1, can I have, Dean, can you just say, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Dean, I'll make that motion.
All right,
Doesn't have to.
second,
I'll second it.
John. All right, and roll call, please.
Trustee Whalen,
In favor?
trustee Ganance,
She's muted, I think. Michelle? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now we
There you
can.
are.
Oh, sorry. In favor, I said. Sorry.
We didn't hear you, sorry. Go ahead, Patty, sorry.
trustee Farronkov,
You're coming in weird.
You're muted. Oh, we still can't hear you, but you are saying something. I think we might be able to hear you.
In favor?
There
There
we
you are.
Excellent.
trustee Scally,
You're,
John, do you hear that?
No, my son in favor.
Thank you.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. Wow, that was rough. Can tell we're not used to these special meetings. Okay. Now, item number 2 is consider adopting the Public Health Emergency Operations Plan for the Village of Altamont, Albany County. What I will tell you, this comes out of Labor Law 27C. It requires public employers to adopt a plan for operations in the event of a declared public health emergency. This is our plan, the draft that we've been reviewing, and much of it was developed along with our council helped us using information from our COVID action plans that we had to complete last summer. So a lot of it was the same type of information, just putting it into a new template and new format. So I don't know if anybody had any other questions on that, but that's, I think it's self-explanatory. This will be housed with those same documents that we had in a binder in the village office for we had our COVID plans, but this is for, again, another declared health emergency in the future. So we have some procedures in place, and there are certain things we have to do now, according to New York State, and we had done them for COVID, but we're gonna keep those in place going forward. So could I have a motion?
Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, I was curious about that. So we're not technically under public health emergency that this would apply to?
This is from the state, but it's from the Department of Labor, and this was another, after they had us do those action plans just for our COVID response.
Okay,
This came out in the fall. I want to say November, don't quote me, but I think it was around November. And they asked us to think about putting something together. It's kind of redundant with some of that same information. So it's really just taking it for any public declared emergency.
well, I was just curious because if we are currently under, ooh, is that me? If we are currently under a public health emergency, once we vote this in, don't we have to then vote this into action? Or we would?
I had to mute myself because there's a phone call coming in, but the answer was yes. All right, does anybody
Can I
else?
ask a couple questions real quick?
Sure.
It's
Sorry.
it's around the section about essential employees.
Yep,
First, under essential function for the fire department,
okay.
they don't actually provide ambulance protection to the village residents.
Oh, was that included? Let me see. Let's see, chief of.
The bottom of page 4, there's a table.
Oh, I'm on 5, sorry. Hold on a second. Fire department there, protect, I'll make that correction. Yep,
And then on the next table where you list out the essential positions, I'm just curious why only the chief of the police and the officers for the fire department are essential. I would expect that we'd also need police officers and firefighters.
hold on a second. Let me see, I didn't catch it, let me see. The village identified. I can include officers. I think I didn't catch that, honestly. The description is correct. So that is something we can amend. This is like kept in-house, so we can amend that as well, but so I'll put and officers.
And then for the fire department, I think firefighters too.
Firefighters too.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because I know at work, it's a big deal whether somebody's position is determined essential, right? If an essential employee has access to like vaccines sooner than non-essential employees.
It's funny, on my first draft, I did have firefighters, so I'm not sure. I think when Allison and I were going back and forth, somehow we lost that. So that was on there, not the officers. I don't know how that happened, but firefighters. So I will include that. See anything else? Okay, so I'm gonna ask for, let's do it this way. Let me just gotta read what Patty had here. And I'm gonna add something to it. So consider adopting the public health emergency operations plan for the village of Altamont with the amendments to both the fire department and police department, including firefighters under fire department essential positions and police officers under police department essential positions. Could I have a motion? Michelle, can you just say it so Patty has it for the record?
I'll second.
You're muted though, Michelle.
Yes,
Nick?
I know. I'll
Okay.
do it. I'll motion it.
Motion and Nick is second, and roll call, please.
Trustee Whalen,
In favor?
trustee Ganance,
Favor.
trustee Farronkov,
In favor?
trustee Scally,
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. Before I go to item number 3, does anybody from the board have something else they need to talk about? So I guess I'll just start off with another last goodbye to Dean Whalen. Now, Dean, you've got more meetings.
That was my question. It's the 30th. How many more meetings are we gonna have
I know.
We need an emergency meeting tomorrow.
before Tressa takes over?
I should have saved the cake. We had the big send off and we've had 3 meetings since. So I wish you well again, and I'm sure we'll be working with you for many other things over time.
Thanks,
we're
Al.
knocking on your door. Thank you
Thank you,
Can I
Dean.
A motion to adjourn, number 3.
So move.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, John, you're too late. Nick is the
Oh.
motion. John, give me a second.
Sure.
All right, roll call, please, Patty.
Trustee Whalen,
Favor?
trustee Ganance,
Michelle, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We
Can you
didn't
hear me?
You can't now say in favor. We're good.
In favor.
Unless you're opposed. Okay.
trustee Farronkov,
In favor.
trustee Scally,
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. This is the kind of tech day I had at work today. Troubling. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night. And thank everybody. Todd, have a great vacation. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you.